Alright guys, welcome back to another Angry Dollar video. Today is March 1st, you know what that means. Every college basketball fan's favorite time of the year. So today we got a lot of college basketball teams. We're going to rank them on this list today. First off, we got Cincinnati, not a good team, trash. Same with ECU, not a good basketball team. Houston, they're pretty good. They got some good guards on the team, solid basketball team. Memphis, I think they were ranked in the beginning of the season and kind of just fell off, so we'll put them in C. Irrelevant. Temple's not irrelevant, but they suck. Tulane, I think. Half of these irrelevant teams, if you don't watch college basketball, you probably won't even know who they are. Twisla is a D because I don't think they're relevant. UCF, we'll put them at D because they're cool when they had Taco Fall. South Florida, I think, irrelevant. Wichita State, A. I think they're a really good offensive team. Need to work on their defense, but they probably will make the tournament, and I think they'll go pretty far. Boston College, irrelevant. Clemson's irrelevant. Duke, just really not good this year. They just can't put it together this year. Just not a good basketball team like they have been in the past. Florida State, A, another sleeper team that I think could go really far in the tournament, have a really good offense. Georgia Tech, irrelevant. Louisville, I think they're B because I don't think they're as good as these two teams, but they're better than Houston though. Miami, we'll put them in D. NC State, B, an underdog team. A lot of people don't know how good NC State is. I think they're a good basketball team. North Carolina is a C. Should put them in D, but they can't be consistent. They just can't get a consistent win streak going. Pitt, irrelevant. Notre Dame, D. Syracuse, D. VTech, we'll put them in a C because I don't think they're as bad as these teams. Virginia, B. They could be A, but they have the players to be an A, but they just can't be because they don't win as many games as they should. Wake Forest, irrelevant. This UAB, I think, irrelevant. Baylor, our first blue blood. There's going to be 4 blue bloods, best teams in the country. Baylor lost to Texas, or they beat Texas and they lost to Kansas. Those are the only 2 games they've really played that have been a ranked match. So little overrated, but they are 23-1. So Ohio State, D. Kansas State, D. Kansas, really good basketball team. They just beat Baylor. They're going to be ranked higher this Monday probably, or Tuesday. Yeah, and I think they're going to shoot up in the rankings. Oklahoma State, one of my favorite teams to watch. Cade Cunningham is a really good player. He dropped 40 the last game. It was insane. But yeah, really good team, and they can go far if they make the tournament, I think. Oklahoma, will give them a B. TCU is irrelevant. Texas Tech, we'll put them in A because even though as a Michigan State fan, I hate to say it, but they still got one of the best defenses in the country. Texas, also a really good team. They just lost to Texas Tech, but I think they just had a bad game. They're still really good. West Virginia, another really good basketball team that can go pretty far in the tournament. Same thing with Illinois, really good basketball team. They got AO, really good player. And yeah, Indiana, C, not as good as the other Big Ten teams like Iowa. We're going to put them in A. Luka Garza, player of the year, you know the deal. Maryland, C. Michigan State, my favorite team. Kind of sad that I have to put them in C. They're not really having a good season. They just lost to Maryland yesterday, which was a tough loss. That was kind of their ticket. They needed a punch to win and get in the tournament, but I don't know how they're going to do now. Michigan, I hate to say it, but probably one of the best teams in the country, easily the most complete team in the country offensively and defensively. Minnesota, C, just because they're the only team that beat Michigan, I think. Nebraska, D. Northwestern, D. Ohio State, A, really good offense. They have a lot of guards, but their defense kind of blows. Penn State, D. Actually, I'll put them in C. I don't think they're as bad as Northwestern and Nebraska. Purdue, B. decent basketball team. Rutgers, C. Wisconsin, A. They're not as good as these other Big Ten teams. BYU, C. D, actually. Yeah, we'll put them in D. 49ers, irrelevant. Davidson, irrelevant. Dayton, D. They should be irrelevant, but they suck. Obi Toppin, they suck without him. Butler, C, coming off a huge win against Villanova. Creighton, A, another sleeper team. Actually, not even a sleeper team. They're just a really solid basketball team, really entertaining team to watch. DePaul, D, still a really fun team to watch. They got a lot of good players. I don't know why they can't win games. Georgetown, they're the same boat as Butler. I'll give them a C. Marquette, D. They lost their best player, now they're trash. Providence, C. Seton Hall, C. I really like Seton Hall, good team. St. John's, D. UConn, B, because they're better than these 4 teams in the Big East. Villanova, the third blue blood. Really good team, probably has one of the best point guards in the whole country, Colin Gillespie. Really solid offensive team. Really good at shooting the 3. Xavier, underdog. Give him a B. Zach Fremantle, really good player, and I think they could have a good run in the tournament. I don't think they will, but they have the ability to. Irrelevant, GW irrelevant. Gonzaga, the final blue blood of this tier making. We got all 4. Gonzaga 23-0. They haven't really played anyone good, but they're always a good basketball team. Drew Timme, GOAT. Irrelevant. Iona, irrelevant. LaSalle, irrelevant. Liberty, D. Irrelevant. Murray State should be in D, irrelevant, but I'm putting them at C because John Morant was the GOAT at Murray State. Lovis, irrelevant. I don't think they're as irrelevant as these teams down here. Same thing with Ohio. They suck, but they're not as relevant as these teams. Same thing with Arizona State, and same thing with Arizona. Cal's irrelevant. Colorado, I'm putting them in B. Another really solid team. It's an underdog going into this tournament. We'll put them as irrelevant. Oregon, same thing. Another sleeper team that could go far in the tournament. Stanford, irrelevant. UCLA, we'll give them a B. Really solid basketball team. SC, irrelevant. Utah, they're not as irrelevant as these teams down here. Washington State is irrelevant though. Washington's irrelevant. There's so many irrelevant teams, dude. I honestly feel bad if you're a fan of some of these basketball teams. Richmond, they were ranked. They were pretty good in the beginning of the season, but they kind of fell off. We'll give them a C. Irrelevant. San Diego, we'll give them a D because they're not irrelevant. Alabama, we'll give them a B. Arkansas, A. Really good basketball team. They're ranked. They coming off a huge win off of LSU. They got one of the best guards in the country, I think, in Moses Moody. A really fun team to watch. Auburn coming off a huge win against Tennessee. Didn't even have Sharif. But I just don't think they're as good as these teams. Honestly, we'll put them in B. I don't think they're going to make the tournament, though. Who do we got next? Florida. Florida's a C. They're not that great of a team. Georgia's a D. Kentucky. Kentucky's a C. Even though they suck, they have the ability to win the tournament. LSU, we'll put them in A. Don't judge. I think LSU can be a really solid team in this March Madness tournament. They got a really good offense. They just got to put their defense together. Relevant. Mississippi State, not irrelevant, but they suck. Same thing with Ole Miss. Irrelevant. Tennessee, C, because even though they're ranked 20, I think if they make the tournament, they're going to be an early first-round exit because they're just not that good and they're good at choking. Texas A&M, D. Vandy, D. Irrelevant. St. Mary's, D. Stephen F. Austin, we'll put them in D just because they beat Duke. There we go. Irrelevant. So many irrelevant. These are all the irrelevant teams. Name one person who's watched a Weber State basketball game this year in the comments. We see a D because they're not that irrelevant. But yeah, like I said, I feel bad if you're a fan of these irrelevant teams. We got the D-list teams, just aren't that good at basketball. We got the C teams who are mid-tier. If I had to pick like 2-3 teams to make the tournament out of this group right here, it'd probably be Michigan State, no bias, Kentucky, and Seton Hall, maybe Butler. But yeah, this is the teams. We got the 4 best teams in the country right here. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.